Welcome to the Critical Thinking Strategy for Unit 6. The strategy for this unit is classifying information. Classifying helps you see similarities and differences between different groups of people, places, or things. This skill can be useful for dividing information up into logical chunks, which makes it easier for our brains to process. Classifying is very common in the sciences and social sciences. For example, in the sciences, we classify animals into different kinds of species. If we didn't have a classification system, the amount of animals we would have to keep as a big lump in our minds would be huge. As another example, in psychology, we classify people into different personality types. For example, extroverts are people who gain energy from going out and meeting other people. On the other hand, introverts are people who regain energy by enjoying time alone. By categorizing these personalities, it helps us understand people better and deal with them on a more personal level. When you classify information, you arrange ideas into different types or categories according to the similar features they have. For example, how would you classify these three types of vehicles? Cars, vans, and SUVs. What feature do they share? Here's a hint. Cars, which are often used for city driving, carry passengers. Vans also carry passengers, usually many at one time. And SUVs, which are used for off-road driving, also carry passengers. So, all three of these automobiles can be classified as passenger vehicles. Now, let's practice. Look at the list of school subjects. How would you classify them into three different categories? Which subjects are similar to each other? Biology, chemistry, and physics are all kinds of science. The second classification is languages, which includes English, French, and Spanish. Then there's a third group. Algebra, calculus, and geometry are all kinds of math. Can you think of other ways to categorize this information? The great thing about categorizing is that depending on how you are dividing the information, you can end up with many different outcomes. Try categorizing the school subjects into easy, a little difficult, and difficult categories. When you compare with a partner, you might be surprised by how they categorize the information. Now, let's recap today's lesson. When you classify information, you are putting ideas into different groups that share similar qualities. For example, physical properties, functions, or other types of sorting. This helps you to see similarities and differences, and make comparisons more easily. When you classify, remember to ask yourself, how many categories are there? And what is similar among each category? Thanks for listening.